Good morning, Scotland. Good morning, social media land. I hope you are well. It is Wednesday, the 22nd of January 2025. First, let me apologise for the late arrival of yesterday's video. I broke my glasses, which made it very challenging to edit the content. However, I did get a new pair and managed to get the video uploaded before midnight. Not what I'd like to do, but we eventually got there. In the past two videos, we've been discussing why we need to vote for Scotland. We introduced the concept on Monday, touching on how both indie folk and Unionists in Scotland are in essence Scottish. We are all Scottish. And yesterday, we talked about how politics is a tool, and regardless of political loyalties, we have a need as Scots and people wanting self-determination to rise above the colours of our flags and vote for Scotland. We all love our country and probably have more in common together than the division that we are sold in the media. Today, I'm going to take it a step further and talk about us, the grassroots movement, the activists, the foot soldiers that do the hard work of independence. The independence movement in Scotland is as much about its people as it is about its politics. While political parties play an undeniable role in shaping Holyrood, they cannot achieve independence alone. The grassroots movement, diverse, informed and united, holds the true power of Scotland's independence. But we need to be united. It has a unique ability to rise above party politics, engage with voters and create a momentum needed to deliver a pro-Scottish Holyrood, but only if we choose to do so. Politics, by its very nature, is divisive. The rivalries between the SNP, Alba, the Greens often hinder collaboration within the independence movement. Policy debates and disagreements in Holyrood are necessary for governance, but these tensions spill out into the wider movement. Hostility between party supporters online deepens these divides, creating the impression of a fractured cause. This division weakens the collective effort and alienates undecided voters who see disorganization where they really should be seeing unity. Grassroots campaigners, however, are not bound by these constraints. They represent the people, not parties, and can provide a neutral space where collaboration and unity flourish. And this example of a united front for independence that transcends politics would push the politicians into positions where they too would have to get over themselves and share their toys with each other to push for independence. By focusing on the shared goal of independence, grassroots movements can hold political representatives accountable to the broader movement, not just to their party loyalties. One of the most critical roles for grassroots campaigns is engaging undecided voters and reactivating those disillusioned by the political process. A sustainable pro-Scottish majority in the electorate is essential for independence, but many voters are wary of party infighting. Again, this is where grassroots efforts excel. Unencumbered by party affiliation, by rising above the colours of their political entities, they can present a message that is inclusive, non-partisan and focused entirely on Scotland's future. By addressing shared struggles and aspirations rather than political loyalties, by sharing what we have in common, our culture, they inspire trust and hope, bringing people into the independence movement, showing them that independence is not about exchanging one set of rubbish politicians for another set of rubbish politicians. It's about dedicating ourselves to our nation so we can make decisions about ourselves by people like ourselves. Grassroots activism thrives on personal connections. Unlike large political campaigns, grassroots efforts operate at the ground level through community events, town halls, social media engagement, and those face-to-face conversations you have with your friends at work, customers, anybody that you engage with. This authentic, people-focused approach resonates with voters who feel disconnected from political institutions. It becomes a national conversation. By speaking directly to individual concerns, grassroots campaigns can persuade undecided voters that independence is not only achievable but necessary for Scotland's future. Another key strength of grassroots movements is their ability to navigate Scotland's electoral system strategically. The SNP's dominance often limits its ability to win regional list seats, leaving Unionist parties to gain disproportionate representation. Political parties constrained by their own interests and loyalties struggle to address this imbalance. However, grassroots movements can educate voters about the mechanics of the system and advocate for tactical voting where political parties cannot. This could mean encouraging voters to direct their regional list votes towards smaller pro-Scottish parties to ensure a broader representation of the independence movement within Holyrood. Beyond strategy, grassroots movements are uniquely positioned to craft a cohesive narrative for independence. While political parties focus on their own platforms, grassroots campaigns can emphasise the broader message that independence is about Scotland's future, its identity, its culture, and its right to self-determination. The message must highlight shared struggles and Scotland's potential as an independent nation, inspiring voters to see that independence is not just achievable, but it's essential. A unified narrative driven by grassroots efforts reassures voters that independence is a collective national effort, not a fragmented political project. But beyond strategy and messaging, grassroots movements bring something just as vital: hope. Independence is not just a political goal, it's an emotional one. If you're not attached to this emotionally, perhaps you should be considering a different form of activism. This emotional connection is what turns support into votes and transforms a movement into a force for change. A pro-Scottish Holyrood is not just about electoral outcomes, it's about creating a political framework that reflects the will and interests of Scotland's people. Grassroots activism is the catalyst that can overcome the limitations of party politics, unite the movement and mobilise voters to make this vision a reality. The question is not whether political parties can overcome their rivalries, it's whether the people of Scotland can lead the way. We have the power to unite the movement, inspire the electorate and deliver a Holyrood that prioritises pro-Scottish interests, not interests by parties who take instruction from their masters down in London. Politics may provide the framework, but the energy and determination of the grassroots will light the way forward. Independence is not just a goal, it's Scotland's destiny. And I tell you something, it's time for us, the people, to take the lead. It really is up to us. We have placed our trust in politicians to deliver independence, and yes, they need to govern and manage our country effectively from Holyrood, but there's nothing stopping them also being activists. You know what? I want to challenge all the political parties, their leaders, their MSPs, their committees and internal management structures to march together at as many of all under one banner's marches this year. Politicians ignoring the power of the grassroots movement is dangerous, as it could breed contempt amongst us and sow even more seeds of division. And if politicians use the alchemy of their word magic to placate us and falsely inspire us, but deliver nothing, then more the fool we are. So my personal message to my brothers and sisters who are proud grassroots activists, my brothers and sisters who continue to fight every day for the self-determination of our country, is to deliver a pro-Scottish Holyrood, one that truly represents all of our independence movement, an SNP government and a strong representation of all the other political entities of independence in opposition. If you don't think that that's a good idea, perhaps then you need to take a good look at yourself and decide if you truly feel campaigning for independence is for you. It's not just about the political parties and what the SNP can do, what Alba and the Greens can do. They work for us. They need to take instruction from us and put independence at the top while still governing Scotland effectively. And with reform on our doorstep, we need to consider alternative tactics and expand the power of the list to include more pro-Indie representation in Holyrood. The other thing we need to remember is that it is a devolved parliament, a parliament where the SNP has truly pushed the boundaries of what it can do. But, and it's a big but, it's still limited. We also need to accept that there are indie folk who will vote for the SNP reluctantly because they feel that they do not represent them, but they are aware that it is their only choice for independence. But by joining hands with them and campaigning together next year to ensure the SNP dominate the constituencies and then supporting their political entities in the list, we can do this. We can win a diverse mass of pro-Scottish independence representation in Holyrood, one that can shake the foundations of our country and take us to freedom. Tomorrow, we shall be looking at the mechanics of the additional member system so everyone can understand how to achieve this very important goal by tactically voting. Remember, the Unionists tactically vote. And if we don't get on board with this, then we only have ourselves to blame if they dominate Holyrood. Let's be a forward-thinking grassroots movement and make the politicians understand that this is the best move possible. A pro-Scottish government and a pro-Scottish opposition. Thank you for watching. Have a great Wednesday, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.